much kind of gave us the gems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you're
have
the
a few more.
questionnaire. Okay, so I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
take the floor, and then we can go from there.
Sure, sure. So one thing that I have been talking about recently on Clubhouse, and I'll give y'all the information for that later, is how sensuality and womb magic relates to today's world. And what I mean by today's world is, how does all of that fit into what we're going through right now, right? Does it really matter? Is it really important? Is it something that we should really focus on? And y'all already know what I'm going to say. So what I've noticed is when you're in a state of survival, okay, energetically, physically, emotionally, and such, that state, if you stay in that state for too long, that is something that can directly affect your sacral chakra. So bring that back to the energy of survival and where that comes from. Everything starts at the root, okay? Everything starts at the base. Your womb is sitting above your root chakra, okay? And so when we think about first, when we think about the root chakra, we think about survive, we think about stability, we think about security, we think about physical vitality, we think about interconnectedness and all of these things. If you think about everything that has happened pretty much this time from this time last year until now, because I think that's when COVID started, our root chakra has been banged up. You know what I'm saying? People have lost their homes. Okay. People have been, in a suspended state of fear when it comes to evictions. Okay. We have been in a suspended state of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make money. I don't know if I'm going to be able to provide for my children, whether that's a man or a woman. Okay. And I'm going to get into how this relates to men as well, very briefly. But, our interconnectedness, we've been social distancing for forever, things have been locked down and then reopened and then locked down again. And, people are suffering from lack of intimacy, lack of touch. Okay. There's so many things that are going on with the root. And one thing I wanted to say, which I thought was really interesting, when COVID first started and everyone was acting like it was doomsday, it was like, oh my gosh, we got to get all these things. It's going to be locked in. We're not going to be able to come out, right? What was the first thing that people bought out? Toilet paper. And for a while, I was like, I don't understand why people are like buying a bunch of toilet paper. Like, did you not have toilet paper? Are you eating it? Like, what's going on? Our root chakra was being affected. Okay. What do we use toilet paper for? To wipe our butts, right? To wipe ourselves after going to the bathroom. Okay. So we were subconsciously showing that, yo, our root chakra is getting banged the F up, because it's so many things happening. And then, things continue to occur. Living in the United States, if you're here, you already know we're still dealing with the pandemic, right? So when you feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my place, I'm not gonna be able to make money. I've been relying on this job for security for all of this time, and now job industries are changing. They have to change, and we can have a whole conversation about what that shift in consciousness is going to bring. Because I just want to let y'all know nothing's going back to normal. Okay, this is the new normal for many reasons, but all of these things coming up, especially for women, for us women, you don't think about creating. Okay, so let me give you an example. There was an article I've read that was saying that the job laws mainly affected women, right? So some of those women may have been the sole providers, some of them may have been partners with their husbands, however that showed up. But we want to feel safe. We want to feel safe to create, because that's what we do. We amplify, we magnify anything that's given to us, whether good or bad. Okay. So with all of these things happening, oh my God, I lost my job. Oh my God, I'm at home. I still got my job, but now I have to deal with my children all day, every day. How can I juggle dealing with my kids and then working to help either bring income into the house or, provide solely for my families? So when you're in that state constantly, all the time, the disconnection is not only happening in your body, but it's happening in your womb, because it take that experience and being, I'm gonna say being and choosing to stay in that experience, it's almost like having an out of body experience that you don't realize you're having. Okay. That prevents us from staying in our bodies like, whoa, okay, everything's happening around me. I am divine feminine. I am a feminine being. I am a woman. I know chaos. Okay. Let me get centered. Let me be the eye of my own storm and figure
Yeah.
out what I can do to create a new timeline. But if you stay in that suspended state of survival mode constantly, you're not connected enough in your body. And I'm gonna go into how sensuality taps into this. You are not connected enough in your body to basically get yourself out of that and create another timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, time is no longer linear. Actually, it's never been. But I think for a lot of people, we know that now. So when I talk about timelines and realities, that's a real thing. Okay. So when we are in this state, we feel like, oh my gosh, there's no way out. It's always going to be like this. I'm always going to be struggling, you know. And instead of taking that, you know, going within and being like, okay, what can I do? How can I do this in a way that feels good, that is pleasurable for me? Okay, yeah, it's probably going to be a little uncomfortable, but how can I get from a state of surviving to a space of thriving? And that's where your womb comes in. So again, what I have been seeing happening, okay, is a lot of people have been forced, a lot of women in particular have been forced to get creative. There have been a lot of businesses that have been birthed from COVID. And I'm gonna be very, very blunt. There's people that are thriving and there are people that are still surviving. Okay, when we talk about the 3D and 5D shift, I hope y'all know that it's already happening. You know, that we are experiencing different levels of realities based on our choice and the way we choose our energy. So there were people who were like, you know what? Boom, I'm going to create this business, or I'm going to take this hobby and turn it into a business. You know, whatever it may be that they were making, maybe they were working on it already, maybe them losing their job sparked that. Okay. And then it just, you know, it just exploded. And then again, you have other people who are continuing to be in that state of, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. And their environment, the universe is hearing like, okay, y'all know what you're going to do. Okay, you're gonna stay in fear. All right, I'll just keep giving you more of this, and this is what you're putting your attention on. Just as a disclaimer, I am not saying that, you know, the hardships that we have had collectively over the past year, they are valid. Okay, you have a reason to you know, stress out about it. But what I'm saying is, you also have the choice to be like, you know what, I'm going to move myself from this place of survival consciousness to thriving consciousness, even if everything doesn't look the way I want it to yet. Okay. When you think about feminine energy, the feminine energy is very internal. It's mysterious, you know, kind of alluring. You don't always know what it's going to do. Okay. Thinking about feminine energy, you can think about the vastness of space. Okay. If you're an astronaut, you know, or if you are meditating, you know, because again, that's a whole, a whole other topic. That voided energy, it may seem like there's nothing going on, but something is always being created. Okay. Dark matter in space is feminine energy. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Okay. So within that darkness, within that chaos, you have the power to create something new. And that's what these experiences are asking you to do, to move to a place of thriving, because the things that we depended on before, which really weren't benefiting us the way we really wanted to, because, you know, people complain about their jobs all the time, just as an example, is bringing us into a space of, this is how you can create, and you can choose to be in this this place of thriving, this place that feels good, this place of aligning with your tribe that's doing those things. Okay, so you don't have to constantly deal with resistance from people who are trying to hold on to the old world or the old system. Okay, so I hope you understand like how all these things connect to using, you know, using your womb, cultivating your womb energy, so that you have that cultivation, that energy to just push it out. Be like, you know what, I'm gonna bring it all the way out. Boom, that's what it is. And I'm